agencies of government that are involved in disbursing the grants. And we also shouldn't forget that we live in a country where what you call connection, it remains a major way by which we do official transactions. So if you don't know people, you are likely not to get what you deserve, which some people in parliament and those in the ministries think have been made available to the average school owner. So it's not as simple as you think. I lead the Nigerian teachers community. We have over 0.7 million teachers and school owners there. And the signal we get is that these things are not as simple as you read about them in the papers. So my sister, face the reality. That money is not as accessible as government agencies have made it to believe.
You said face the reality. Okay, that's fine. So I want you to now talk about some of the issues away from the fuel price hike. Now we understand that there are some issues already that has been facing the education sector for a while, or the education sector has been faced with for a while. So I want to get your take on, because you were talking about teaching in other climes, how students are taught is different from how it's done here, the approach. I want to hear some of the issues you think are bedeviling the education sector and the solutions you would prefer to those issues. But I'll be right after we come back from this short break. You're listening to Spotlight on Super FM 92.7. I am Kimberly, your host, and I'm not doing this alone. I have Abiodun Adekunle in the studio with me, even if he's just being a bit grumpy. Is it that the fuel hike is affecting? Did you trek to school?
No, I didn't have to do that for a long time.
You didn't have to do that. But what's the difference between trekking and strolling, though?
There's a long difference. Strolling could just be maybe a few meters. But when you're trekking,
strolling
that means you're doing
meters. But what if you can stroll for
No.
What if you can stroll from here to
in the Nigerian
Bridge
context,
or
you're
something?
trekking, you're doing that maybe over a lot of
trekking
kilometers.
is when you don't have an option.
Yes,
Strolling is when there's money in your
Of
pockets,
course.
but you're like, you just want
Strolling
to.
just like leisure
You
walk.
just want It's all good. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
In many regions, female children are marginalized and face educational barriers. Let us break this circle by supporting initiatives that enhance access to quality education for the girl child globally. Together, we can empower and shape a brighter future for the girl child.
This message is brought to you by 92.7 Super FM.
Super FM 92.7.
Are you ready to explore the future of our nation's growth and sustainability? Tune into PPP Pathways. This is the show where we dive into the dynamic partnerships between public and private sectors, creating pathways for nation building and sustainable development. Join the Pathfinder as he's excited to take you on this journey of discovery and transformation. Each week on PPP Pathways, he'll be bringing you expert interviews, insightful discussions, and real-world examples of how public and private partnerships are shaping our future. Remember, PPP Pathways is your gateway to understanding how we can all contribute to building a prosperous and sustainable nation. Be sure to tune in to your One Family, One radio station every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Tune in and join the movement. Tune in and join the movement.
Attention, young writer. Do you have a passion for storytelling or a way with words? Here's a chance to shine. We're excited to announce the essay writing competition just for kids, and we want you to participate.
Here's how it works. The competition is open to kids between the ages of 10 to 14. Write a 500-word essay on the theme, My Nigerian Superhero. Send your essays to essaycontestlagos@superfm.info. Please note, each contestant can only submit one entry. The top 5 essays will be shortlisted, and entries are open from now until the 22nd of September 2024. This is proudly supported by Peak Milk, African Things, Golden Penny, and Choco.
Brought to you by Super FM, inspiring the next generation.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM. Do you know that you don't need a life of luxury to enjoy a great home or invest in quality property. A healthy and happy home can lead to a longer, more fulfilling life. Investing in the right property is not just a purchase, it's a valuable investment in your future. As we enter the Ember month, we encourage you to secure and enrich your future to build a joyful and prosperous family life. Embrace the opportunity to live a life you will truly cherish. This message is brought to you by your one family, one radio station, Super 92.7 FM.
Football is life.
Cross. It's Haaland. It's 1-0 City.
Football is worth living for.
Here's Lucas Moura. Oh, they done it!
Football spurs you on. You feel every kick of the leather, every blade of grass, because you crave the ride on the undiluted, controversial, and of course, the best analytical side of the game. Join the sports team on a 45-minute cruise ride where we dissect, critically analyze, and mastermind everything football. It's For the Love of the Game every weekday from 6:15 up until 7 p.m. on Super 92.7 FM. For the love of the game, we crave the game.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
92.7 Super FM.
It's 92.7 and you're listening to Spotlight.
All right, welcome back to Spotlight. 16 minutes to the top of the hour. Abiodun, what's going on?
All right, thank you again.
Yeah, we still have our guest connected with us in the studio.
Hello, Dr. Peter.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so Kimberly asked you some questions regarding government funding, subsidies for the education sector due to time. And you said something that I just want to follow up on.
Let's see if you can raise your voice a little bit more.
Okay, sir. So I said you did mention something about government subsidies, government funding, grants for schools and teachers. And you were trying to explain maybe the politics behind accessing those grants. So I wanted to ask you something that some stakeholders in the sector had said that, before we used to have what we called mission schools, and some of those schools were taken over by the government, and we saw what happened. Do you think that in light of what we see happening now, some of those schools should be returned back to maybe the churches and the mosques or the religious organizations, if you want to call it that? Just in the interest of quality.
Sorry, you still have to make it
Okay, sir,
the volume is still not.
Okay, can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now, sir? Can you hear me better now, sir?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so he's asking that the role of religious organizations in alleviating the hardship for the children and parents. Do you think they have a role to play?
Not exactly. Like if some of those schools should be returned back to, we used to have mission schools.
That should they now be overseen by religious houses? Do you think that it's going to help with the quality of education and ease the suffering?
Are you talking about whether we should consider the possibility of?
Abiodun is saying that there was a time where missionaries were handling the schools, and now the government took over. And, we've seen what's the decline in the quality and out of school children. So he's saying that, do you think that that should be reversed? That should be returned? Maybe churches should take back ownership, but not just churches now, religious houses.
Well, we already have a significant number of schools that are being run by missions. You have to understand that just as the word mission suggests, they have a mission. Their mission is not primarily giving you education that enables you to function in society the way all of us want you to function. Missions want you to function in society the way they understand everyone should function. So their primary interest is in propagating their faith, using religious platforms. So somehow education happens in the process. But their primary interest, as the word mission suggests, is that you believe what they believe. So if they are Christians, they want you to believe that Jesus is Lord. If they are Muslims, they want you to believe in the tenets of Islam.
Which is not
now,
a bad thing, anyway.
A state is different. The state is interested in everyone functioning in a way that will make all of us to live together. irrespective of the faith that you profess. So we can't give the fate of Nigeria, leave the fate of Nigeria in the hands of mission schools, because the things they propagate are not necessarily the things that will make us, recognize the value of working together and the gains in our diversity.
All right,
missions have a way of exaggerating our diversity and making us remain conscious of the fact that we are Muslims and we are Christians and we are, people of neither believing in neither in Christianity nor in Islam.
Okay.
So, governments that are serious and are responsible don't leave the business of education strictly in the hands of mission schools. It just won't work.
Okay, then. All right, if you're listening to us, be a part of the conversation. You can send a message to the WhatsApp line 0705 6900927. That's 0705 6900927. All right, so I was asking you some of the issues currently faced. Or currently, just tying the hands in the education sector and how you think it can be resolved.
If you don't mind, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so before we went on the break, I was asking you about some of the issues in the education sector and how you think it can be resolved. Away from the fuel hike now, some already existing issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a call here. Just hold on, please. Hold that thought. Hello, good morning. Uh-oh. All right, try to reconnect with us, 0705-890-4927 or 0805-092-0927. All right, Dr. Peter, go on.
Yeah, so within the time available to us, we can deal with one or two areas. In education, we are interested in teaching and learning. The teaching and learning happening in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. We don't teach well. And the reason why we don't teach well is because teachers have not been trained on how to teach. So there's so much of rote learning, happening here. So you find young people who have finished secondary school, and this child has 7 A's, in mathematics, in chemistry, in physics, in biology. But this child, can't define the simplest things in those subjects. And you can't blame the child. It's because the child wasn't well taught. There's so much focus on acquiring, certificate credentials to enable you to take the next step, to enable you to get, be ready for a meal ticket and those kinds of things. That's not what education should primarily be doing for us. Education should open your eyes. Education should open your mind. Education should equip you with the knowledge, skills, values, productive member of society. And with or without certificate, once you are truly educated, you should be able to take care of yourself. But we live in a country where people have MBA and they remain unemployed for even 6 to 10 years. What's the reason for that? It's because you haven't taught them well. You run MBA classes where no businessman comes to class to make a presentation.